if you sit at a desk all day, you probably think you don't have time to work out. And you might be right. But it's not because you work at a desk all day. It's because you think you need a 5-day fucking bodybuilding split to achieve your weight loss or fitness goal. Listen, bodybuilders and people who train for aesthetics, they train. So they have splits, right? You hit chest on Monday, you do arms the other day, you do legs the other day, you do blah 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 back. Now the point of this split is that you hammer those muscle groups so hard that they need several days, probably a week, to recover before you go back and hit them again. Now that can make sense for people who are bodybuilding and working for aesthetics. They want to really, really stress those muscles so they grow more. Thing is, you're not training to compete. You're training to make sure your posture isn't dog shit, that you can go up 2 flights of stairs without wanting to die, and so that you don't need a mobility scooter by the time you're 48. Don't fucking kid yourself saying, I need to train like this because that's the way to work out. No, it fucking isn't. You can if you want to, but you don't need to. And you thinking that you need to go to the gym 5-6 times a week and do all this shit is why you think you don't have time to work out. You don't need splits. Let me introduce you to full body sessions. Now, full body workouts, it doesn't mean that you're going to be doing something for your entire body with each exercise. There are very few exercises that touch nearly every muscle in your body. There's basically none really, but closest I can think of is a super heavy deadlift and I guess a super heavy squat too. You're quite stressed there. A ridiculously heavy overhead press would be pretty good too. But anyway, the full body workout's not just an exercise that hits everything. It's when you go to the gym or you have your exercise session at home, you are hitting the major muscle groups all in that one day. You're not splitting up your chest to one day, your arms the other day, your back the other day, your legs the other day, your butt the other day. I'm talking to you women and some men too. I don't know, do men have glute days? I've never heard of that. I'm sure that exists. But when you do that, you're going to the gym like a million times. And when you're saying, I don't have time because my job takes forever, then that's a problem. Here's my favorite part of why I prefer full body workouts. Let's say you have that split I mentioned before. You have Monday's chest, Tuesday arms, Thursday legs, Friday back, Saturday, glutes. That's a fairly packed week, right? Let's say for whatever reason, you're on a 13-hour flight. You miss your fucking back day, right? But you still want to hit it, right? So you push the other days and you barely have room to push. So you're just basically missing a day there. And then you're condensing everything. So now you're going to do everything else about 5 days in a row, unless you want to push your entire schedule over into the future. It just creates an issue, and God forbid, you something happens and you literally can't exercise for like 3 days, right? You're fucked. You're behind, and you are gonna fuck up your schedule because you need to fit in all those fucking 5-6 days. So what I like about full body exercise is that, let's say you do full body 3 times a week. Full body Monday, full body Wednesday, full body Friday. Let's say for whatever reason from Thursday into the weekend, you just literally can't exercise. When you continue on Monday, guess what? Your entire body got working over the week anyway. With a split, if you missed the back day and the schedule's fucked up, your back missed out. Your glutes missed out. Whatever it is that you're missing. When you do full body, you're hitting all the major muscle groups every time. So everyone gets equal attention. The frequency may differ, but everyone's getting equal attention weekly, which makes you more, symmetrical, more balanced. And that's great because you don't want to be one of those guys who look like fucking Johnny Bravo, because all they do is chest, arm, and back stuff, and then leg stuff, whatever. If you do full body, you're not going to have those weird imbalances. You're going to hit everything. You're also going to hit that subscribe button. Sorry. Now, how do you do this and save time with the full body stuff? Focus on movement patterns. When these guys are doing these splits, right? You're doing the whole day is chest, right? So they're doing, probably chest press, push-ups, chest flies, all this kind of stuff. Then they have the arm day, which is doing tricep stuff, probably shoulder stuff as well. Some people have that as a separate day entirely. Guess fucking what? Literally everything I just said is called a push. So instead of splitting all those muscle groups into separate fucking days, what you can do is choose 1, 2 if you want, whatever, very challenging push exercise, and you hit all those muscles. When you do a push-up, you're hitting the chest, you're hitting the triceps, you're hitting the shoulders, hitting your core as well, because you have to stabilize. Now that's a horizontal push, because it's horizontal from your spine. You can also do a vertical push, which would be like a press, which is also shoulders, triceps, and stuff like that. So if you focus on these patterns, instead of just muscle groups like that, you can hit multiple muscle groups per exercise and per day. Wowzers. And guess what? When your entire body is stressed per workout, instead of just muscle group, you get used to the soreness much more easily. It's much more balanced too. So you recover better. But if you're doing a split where you're absolutely hammering the fuck out of a muscle group, you're gonna be borderline disabled all the time. 2 days after you do chest, you're gonna be, oh, my chest is sore. 2 days after your back, oh, my back is sore. At any given time, you're just gonna have some muscle group that you overdid it on be annoyingly sore. And of course, you can build up resistance to this as well. You don't have to be sore every time you exercise. But if you're doing a full day for something, you're probably gonna stress it out. You're probably gonna be kind of sore. But if you work out your entire body every time, your whole body will get used to all this, all this stuff. And the great thing is, if you do full body, you don't have to do as many days per week, because you don't have to fit every single tiny muscle group. You don't have to go the whole fucking day for your calves. You can go, at the absolute minimum, I'd recommend twice a week, full body. And obviously this has to be challenging for you. You can't just do full body stuff and it's like super easy. That's not going to be super helpful. So when you're doing these big, compound movements, these movement patterns need to be challenging for you. That's how you get the benefits and the results. You can do it twice a week at absolute minimum. You could do it 3, 4, maybe 5 if you really want to. I wouldn't do that. But imagine that. You do full body 5 times a week. You're hitting all your muscle groups of, various intensities 5 times a week, as opposed to the once a week, maybe twice a week if you're doing a split. So it's a no-brainer, honestly, especially if you're strapped for time. You have a lot of flexibility. I can go twice this week. I can go on the weekend, do twice. Fit it in between lunch hours, because it's not going to take 50 fucking hours to do it, because I'm not doing 15 exercises for my chest. All you really got to do is, now in a perfect world, you have time to do all this shit. You do an exercise for horizontal push, vertical push, horizontal pull, vertical pull, knee dominant stuff down for your legs like a squat or lunge, hip dominant stuff like a deadlift, and core, I guess. I don't really count core, because if you're doing challenging stuff, otherwise your core is working. But anyway, in an ideal world, where I used to live in the gym as a trainer, pretty much, I would do that, just one for everything. But strap for time, what you can do, just do push, pull, leg thing. Make it hard. That's it. 3 to 4 sets. Repetitions, between 6 to 12, whatever it is, depending on what weight you're using or how hard it is. That's it. If you're wondering, hey, but if I only do one, very challenging push exercise, it's probably going to be horizontal or vertical. So what happens? Guess what? You're going to go to the gym. You're going to go to the gym again this week, right? Do the other one the other time. There you go. Now, let's discredit some myths here. Myth number 1. You need to isolate muscle groups on separate days to grow effectively. No. If you're a beginner and intermediate, doing a full body routine versus a split routine, you have pretty much the same progress. What matters is the total weekly volume. So I guess if you want to do, a chest day, whatever it is, if you do more volume in that day than you would do in like 2 or 3 full body days, then sure, but that's a lot of fucking time, and you're gonna be really, really fucked up in the chest the rest of the week. So I just recommend doing the full body. It's just more sustainable as for me though. That's what I think. And a higher training frequency actually helps with muscle growth a lot. You're hitting the same muscles multiple times per week instead of just once. Super helpful. So you actually get more frequency, and your body likes that because it takes a bit of time for your body to recover. Like, what is it, 36, I think, or 48 hours to about 72 hours. So if you work out kind of, every other day or every 2 to 3 days, whatever it is, your body is recovered enough and it's ready to be stressed. So if you can hit that frequency with your whole body every time, that's fucking awesome. Myth number 2, split routines allow for better recovery because you're only hitting each muscle group once per week. As I mentioned before, your muscles do not, you only train in a split. The whole point of training in a split like that is if you're going to absolutely fucking murder your muscles to the point where you need an entire week to recover. That's because you're spending the whole fucking day, the whole session just killing it. But if you spread the stress multiple times a week, you're going to recover better, actually. You'll be less sore. Myth number 3, full body workouts take too long. I'd be in the gym for 2 hours. Not really. Like I said, very challenging push, very challenging pull, very challenging leg thing. Then get out. That's it. Yeah, if you want to take your entire split, all those, the chest, the arm, the calf, the glute, the leg, you want to put that all into one full body session. Yeah, that'll take a bit, obviously. But the point of not doing the splits is to not split up all that stress to begin with. Do compound movements. So I'm saying do something like push-ups, overhead press, something like that, where a lot of your muscles are working to make that movement. When I say do a hard leg thing, I don't mean calf raises. That's very specific for your calves. I mean do like a fucking squat, do lunges. You focus on that, you can be done definitely under an hour in the gym. If you like to superset, you do 2 exercises and then you break, 2 exercises, then you break, 2 exercises, then you break, instead of 1 exercise break, 1 exercise break, and then you split that up into like 3 or whatever. So if you superset it, you can actually be done a bit faster. And when you superset, don't choose muscles that overlap. But if you're doing, you're focusing on the patterns, you're probably doing just 1 for each pattern. So they're almost definitely not going to overlap. But what I'm saying is, hypothetically, if you wanted to get in all the movement patterns, I'm talking like horizontal and vertical push, for example, I would not recommend doing a superset of like, oh, I'm doing push-ups and I switch right to overhead press and then I rest. I wouldn't do that. That's going to be stressful as fuck. I mean, you can, but I wouldn't do that. I would do something like pull-ups, like at the power rack. You do squats, and then in between you do pull-ups. Now, it might be challenging doing pull-ups there because the barbell is going to be there rubbing against your balls, which is not fun. So what you can do if you're taller than me, which you probably are, if you're average height, do squats, and then for the pull-ups, grab the barbell itself, get yourself under it, tuck your legs up, put your knees up towards your stomach, your chest, and do pull-ups that way. That way, it's a bit challenging, and you don't have to jump up on the power rack over there, do pull-ups, rubbing your balls against the barbell. That's one way to do it, or squats and push-ups, whatever. They don't really interfere too much in terms of muscle overlap for this kind of resistance, so I'd recommend that. If you get that done, like I said, with supersets, you can be done, not counting changing, and if you want to warm up, be done in like half an hour or so if you want. I take less than an hour almost every time in the gym, unless I'm really like, what shall I work on today? In addition to the movement patterns, I'm working on dragon squats, single arm pull ups, still working on the grip there and stuff like that. So sometimes I think, what point should I add those extra things in? So sometimes it takes me a bit extra trying to do that, but always, pretty much always under an hour. If you want to go in and out with an exact plan, you can be done in like 40, 30 minutes. Let's say that's 3 times a week, right? 40 minutes times 3, 120 minutes, that's 2 hours. Cool. Let's just say an hour, right? Fuck it. 3 hours, right? 3 hours. Let's just say that. Compared to if you went to the gym 5 or 6 times to hit your fucking muscle group up the ass. Most people who do that, they're going to spend like an hour there, maybe 40 minutes or so anyway. So you're going to save at least 2 hours if you switch to doing full body instead of splits. Pretty much that. Myth number 4. Splits are better for fat loss because you can train more days per week. You might be training more days per week, but you're not, what you're training is not going to be the same as if you're doing full body. If you're stressing your entire body, as you do throughout life, because that's how you live with your whole body, not one chest at a time, one leg at a time. Like imagine, this is an example I like to use. Imagine you went to the gym, you exercise, you're doing full body, right? It kind of mirrors what you do in real life. You use your entire body, right? If you go to the gym, you're doing splits. Like, today's back day, right? I'm only doing certain kinds of pulls. Imagine you did that in real life. You go to door, I'm only opening doors today by pulling them open. I can't, close doors. I can't shut my car door. That requires pushing. I'm not doing that today. Can you imagine that? Now, I will say the only split I somewhat and respect a bit is if you do it by movement pattern. Like you have a 1 day for push, 1 day for pull, 1 day for pull, 1 day for legs. It's still the same issue though. You're working on a fraction of your body when you can just work on basically everything every time. But that one, if someone has that, I'm like, all right, okay, whatever, I guess. But if you're doing like chest, arms, triceps, biceps, back, calves, quad, like, dude, come on. No wonder you think you don't have time. So, I mean, you can train more days per week doing either of these. You can train full body just change the intensity. You can still train every day if you want to. Myth number 5. Beginners should start with splits to learn proper form on each muscle group. When you learn proper form, you're learning it either for an exercise or a movement pattern. So just because you're learning one movement pattern one day, it's not going to make it harder for you to learn another movement pattern the same day. That makes no sense. And I will say, past all these myths, if you're I don't know, if you, like I said, if you're a bodybuilder, you train for aesthetics, and you really love exercising, you need to train 5 fucking times a week. Again, you can change the intensity of the full body stuff, but again, if your goals are different, a split can benefit you, I suppose. But let's be real. You who's listening, you're not training for that shit. You're making excuses to not work out because you think it takes too much time. You're deconditioned as fuck. Don't even worry about competing right now. Don't even worry about touching those people who are, sometimes on roids, who are huge at the gym. Focus on getting your posture not shit first. Focus on being not scared to take the stairs if the elevators break. Focus on being able to take all your grocery bags home in one go. And while you can't out-exercise poor nutrition, if you are more active, and that means using more of your body at once, more frequently, your body does burn more calories at rest without extra effort from you. So full body workouts make more sense from that angle as well. So to recap, unless you're competing or doing this purely for aesthetics, fuck splits. Hit your whole body every time. All you need to do is focus on the compound movements. You want to be super simple, push, pull, leg thing. Make it hard, 3 to 4 sets, reps of whatever is challenging. You're good. You got a bit more time. You can hit all the patterns, pushing vertically, horizontally, pulling vertically, horizontally. Knee dominant, hip dominant, core stuff. If you want, I say ignore core, to be honest. Like, honestly, unless you're a fighter, crunches are a waste of fucking time. And I say fighter because you gotta get up off the floor real quick, and that can help, of course. That's a really functional movement for that specific thing. But in general, if you're like, oh man, I want abs, I want to work my core, do a heavy ass fucking squat, overhead press, deadlift, or most other thing, even push ups. Your core is working. And if it's not, you're not doing it correctly. So it's working all the time. As long as you have a low enough body fat, you will see your abs. Calm the fuck down, okay? Yes, if you care about aesthetics, yet again, do the extra specific shit. Go for it. But you probably haven't seen your abs in a couple of years, so let's not worry about, oh, can I see the all six parts of my six pack? Who gives a shit? Focus on getting into a routine that actually works. If anyone cares, here's my split. I wouldn't recommend this to necessarily everyone, but I like to be transparent. I work out on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Why do I do this? Well, because Tuesdays I go into the office for my day job, and I like using their facilities, so doing that. And I don't really want to do shit on the weekend. I mean, if I can't do it for Friday, then I'll do it on Saturday if I have to, but I prefer not to. And since I do back to back Tuesday and Wednesday, one of those days is easier than the other, so I don't kill myself. But yeah, totally works out. If something happens and I can't do it one day, can I move it around? Yeah, because it's just 3 days. I can move. I can plop that shit wherever I want. It's great. I used to do splits back early on, but I stopped that once I learned about the science of compound movements and barbell lifting. Nowadays, I don't touch barbells too often, but they're great for compound movements. Even when I did the splits, though, I'm pretty sure I still only did it 3 times a week. I would do like, I think one day I would basically do about 3 to 4 exercises each for my chest, triceps, shoulders, and then another day it'd just be back, biceps. And the other day would be quadriceps, hamstrings, calves. So I'd use a lot of the machines. That was annoying as fuck. I'd be like, man, I'm on my 12th set of this shit. What the fuck? For the same group too. So I definitely prefer the full body stuff these days. I've lived both lives. Full body is more enjoyable. Because then you can mix and match some stuff too. You can do stuff that combines it. You can mix like an overhead press with a squat. You get a couple dumbbells that you're gonna use for pressing. You just do 2 squats, press. 2 squats, press. Make sure you don't jump up with the press because you're cheating in that way. Do the squats separately up here, press. Squat, then press. Don't combine them that way. I mean, do them like in the same thing. It's almost like a superset. Really, but my point is if you're doing these splits, you're like, oh no, I have to separate everything way too much. Have fun with that. Do you do splits? Do you want to call me a bad name in the comments? Let me know. Make sure you subscribe first so I can read your read your shit talk every week. And if you skip the opening minutes of this and just went straight to the comments talking shit about, oh my god, these splits are helpful because blah blah blah, you're not gonna make it. All right, see you next time.